All right, how you doing, Sydney and Layla? I'm Dale with Vine World Media.
Hi.
Hello. Great.
How are y'all doing today?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Great.
All right. I know you got a long press day, so we'll get into it. Layla, we'll start with you. Nicole seems to be going through a lot this season. Big changes going on, but how would you say her relationship with Meech has changed from the previous seasons to this one?
Yeah, I think her relationship with Meech especially has gone through a ton of ups and downs. As we've seen in past seasons, Meech is her brother. They share the same birthday. They're super duper close and she just loves him. And I think this season we're sort of seeing her kind of, the rose-colored glasses are kind of starting to come off, she's growing up and she's seeing just all how the decisions that he makes directly affects her. And especially in this upcoming episode, season two, something that he does, or he has done
Mhm.
with Nicole, ends up with her not in the best situation. So I think the relationship's kind of rocky this season, but it'll come back together as it always does with his family.
All right. Um, we also see this season, Nicole doesn't really take any bets. She seems to be a very strong character. Where would you say she gets that level of confidence at such a young age?
Hmm. I think that's an interesting question. I think she's kind of taking after, or she's trying to take after her brothers right now, and with kind of them just doing what they want and living how they want, and she kind of sees them as independent people, and that's sort of what she's trying to grab at this season, is her own independence. So I think she's sort of going for that, but I think by the end of the season she finds a real sort of sense of self within herself, that is not like anybody else in the family. It's strictly hers.
Okay. Sydney, we're gonna ask you a few things here. Um, Terry and Marquisha seem to be on the outs. I know Lawanda, she's there for the family, but does she deep down really want to be with Terry?
Hmm. I personally think she's grown past Terry. I think she's dealt with it for so long, that at this rate, it's more of a family friendly vibe. So yeah, I think she's moved on from wanting to be with him.
Okay, so it's all family and business at this point.
Exactly.
All right. 4 seasons on the show. Coming into it, I'm pretty sure you didn't know what to expect, but how do you prepare and how do you deal with your character now as opposed to when you first came in the first season?
Ooh. Um, Well, I tell people all the time, I know I've repeated this a couple times, but I say that, it's been perfect for me, honestly, because from the first season to now, the character has grown. Obviously, we've grown as people. So it was very, BMF was my first big acting role, and Lawanda was very kind of timid and kind of, new to what's going on, and I was personally. So it kind of
Mhm.
intertwined. So the growth and the confidence I have now was way different from season one, and same with Lawanda. So it's kind of like come together and come on screen in a great way.
So you kind of went hand in hand and grew with the character.
Exactly.
Her
Grew
confidence grew, your confidence grew, and it worked
100%.
out perfect.
Yes.
Okay, this one is a little bit for both of you. The relationship that Lawanda and Nicole has is pretty much a sister relationship. Whoever wants to go first, but I would like for both of you to answer. How important is that to your character to have that? Because it keeps Lawanda connected to the family in another way that's outside of Terry, and it gives Nicole a female figure that's not her mother. You know how daughters are with their mothers to look up to. So how is it important for your character?
Mhm.
I think you kind of just really touched on it. For Nicole, it's someone outside of, her mom, who always wants the best for Nicole, but sometimes, they still butt heads as mothers and daughters do. And I think it just, Nicole doesn't have any sisters, so I think Lawanda kind of is able to step in as a big sister for Nicole this season. And it just, even though sometimes she doesn't get the advice she wants from Lawanda, I think she comes to see that Lawanda does know better than her a lot of times, and that she is someone to listen to, and that she's looking out for her.
Hmm.
Okay.
And I think for my character, it's about, like you said, number one, staying connected to the family. And then number two, building sisterhood, even though she is younger, we all need that sisterhood. And I think, Lawanda gets a lot of sense of self as well, kind of seeing herself in Nicole and seeing what she's going through. So I think overall, like I said, just having that sister bond means a lot to Lawanda and her character.
Yeah, as you just said, she sees somewhat of herself in there, and we know Nicole is starting to become into her womanhood and relationships and things like that. We're probably going to see a lot of the show, but what advice would Lawanda have to mess with someone who's dealing with these sort of things that are going on behind the scenes with these guys?
Ooh, wait, to Nicole, right?
Yes, to Nicole.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I think you never want somebody younger than you to make the same mistakes you did. So I think she definitely wants her to know who she is and stay strong and not get caught up in the web that Lawanda did. But at the end of the day, the best teacher sometimes is experience. So we're gonna have to see if Lawanda's word gets through to Nicole, or if she kind of has to go through it herself to understand what everybody's saying.
All right. All right, we're coming a little bit close to our time. So just to end it off, I guess both of you could just shoot it off an easy question. I know this one probably went to you plenty of times, but what would you say? What would you give me two words to describe your character for this season?
Ooh. Hmm.
Okay, I'm going to say expansive, expanding, and I'm going to say
Definitely.
that's kind of a double. I'm sorry. Expanding and two words and figuring it out. I have to have a phrase, just figuring it out.
That works. That works. That counts. That phrase counts as a word.
Mine would be growth and maturity for sure.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. Thank you both. It was great talking to you. Thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of your day.
You
You too.
too.
Thank you.